Are we live?
I didn't
Really?
do it right.
Yeah,
Now
that's
we're
what I'm
live.
saying. Okay, now we're live.
Now we're live?
I think.
Well, I just did the grand intro. You all missed it. I'm sorry.
Do it
One
again.
more-
Do it
one more
again.
time.
McKenna
for-
has to do better.
for your
Hey,
supporters.
everybody, it's Monday Night Live. Welcome. Woo!
It's the Flip Flop Power Hour.
Yeah.
Someone's
Okay.
going deaf.
So I just put out a new type of content. Go check it out and see if you like it. It's on Instagram and
It's the closest thing we
Facebook.
can get you to a TikTok dance.
and it's close to a TikTok dance. Everybody see what you think. I'm practicing to be a DJ.
Here, let
I've
me
also
drop
put it
the
out
link.
as a short. So like it, subscribe on it. Tell me what you think of my dance moves.
They're
I'm
pretty
with
bad.
the DJ. Bitch.
DJ real estate investor.
Yeah.
Man, you're like Shaquille O'Neal these days. It's pretty good.
There you go. Hey, you got to put the phone away.
Here's the link, guys. I just put it in chat. Let us know if you'd be a better DJ or a real estate investor. That can be the first question. What's your musical preference, Dad? What kind of set are you?
And here's another poll.
I really like the upbeat, noisy shit that people jump to.
So look, these are his two DJ names. You guys got to pick one. DJ Bloody Toe or DJ No Toe. Those are the ones.
Hey, everybody, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm wearing flip-flops for the first time in 2 years because my toe's not bleeding. Thank goodness.
Yep.
I don't know if everybody knows that, but I've had a
Miracle.
bloody toe for a couple
doing
years,
good.
ever since we went to war in Ukraine.
Oh,
Came back
man.
wounded.
He was the only
Just
one
healed.
bleeding.
It just healed.
The Russians were using biological weapons on you.
I don't
So,
know
guys,
I don't know
welcome
what they
to-
had in the air over there, but it made my toe bleed.
Welcome to the live. We are here to talk about real estate and business and everything in between. Any questions that you guys have, that's what we're here to answer. So please put the questions in the chat. Let us know what's going on. Aaron, I'm going to start with you. I know you just bought your deal. How is that going? What's your
guys,
status?
wow.
What's going on?
While we're bringing Aaron on, we're going to play this clip
Thank you.
All right. Just a message from our sponsor here.
real quick.
Just a quick
Message
one.
from the sponsor.
Put it full screen.
Adon, I don't think I can click play.
See, I
have to
told
do it
you.
on your side.
Oh no.
Guys, we're not good at this sponsor stuff.
You suffer from analysis paralysis, but you want to become a real estate investor? You just haven't been able to quite get there? Join us on Apex. We want to make real estate investing easy for you. Joel and Noel are my new partners. We bought a foreclosure sale earlier this week, and it was only a few weeks ago that they were suffering from analysis paralysis, but now they're real estate investors, and you can be too. For the month of October, you can get in for the low price of $79 a month, and you lock that price in for the rest of your life as long as you stay in the community. But November 1st, the price is going up. So join now. Every Thursday night, we're putting on a masterclass that'll help jumpstart your real estate investing career. You can network with other great like-minded real estate investors in the community. And ultimately, guys, we're going to help you become a real estate investor by doing deals. Either we'll partner with you on a deal that we've got, or you can bring us a deal and we'll fund it for you and partner with you that way. So what have you got to lose? Join Apex. It's only $79 a month. It's the best investment you'll ever make.
Check that out.
Oh, I mean,
What an
God, that
advertisement.
sponsor, he's handsome. Holy cow.
Ooh. Man, I
Who
can't
is
believe
that
he
guy?
paid to be on this show. That is crazy.
That was fire. All right. Okay. And hey, now we're going to bring Aaron on. He's one of those dynamic real estate investors and entrepreneurs that you guys can network with and do deals with over on Apex.
Well, I don't think we're bringing him on. I just meant.
Yeah, no, he's just gonna
I know
ask
he's
us
in the
questions.
chat here, and I was
Wow.
wondering.
Well, I'm
Sorry,
so used to
Aaron.
bringing Aaron on because, you know, he always leads the group.
It's true.
Bring him
I
on.
was just wondering what's going on with your new project, man, and where.
Pull
where
him
you're at
up
with
if he's there, McKenna. Just
Guys, while he gets that stuff ready, let's talk about what's it called? Act 182.
Oh yeah, Act 182,
That's
guys.
really, really cool stuff.
We just got given a gift for the island of Puerto Rico. So those of you people that want to invest,
People.
yes, you people. I'm one of those people. I want to invest on the island of Puerto Rico.
Me too.
And 182, Act 182 is going to allow us to do basically my favorite way to invest, which is in long-term housing for long-term rental properties and get 40% tax credits, very similar to the way that the island gives tax credits for hospitality investments. They've recognized finally that there's a housing shortage on the island, and they've gone out and done something about it. You won't hear me very often praise the government, but I think they got something right this time. I hope that it works. I think that it will. So they've set up zones inside of each municipality where they're going to encourage this kind of investing. And as long as you do a value add investment play with 7 doors or more, and it can either be for resale for affordable housing or for long-term rentals. And if you follow their rules, jump through their hoops and do it in the right area, you can get 40% tax credits and all kinds of other goodies. We did some long content on it just a little while earlier today. It'll be coming out maybe even this Thursday, hopefully, if we could time it right. We could maybe jump it to the top of the list.
Yep.
Well, let's vision cast this a little bit. Let's say this comes out next year. It's ready to go.
No, it's already
So
signed
it's out.
into law.
It's done.
August.
It's
done.
in law. We can do this today.
Yes.
Today you can do. Okay, well then, what are we doing? Starting in October 15th to take advantage of it, and where do you see this going? Like, what opportunities, just off the top of your head?
Well, let me tell you guys real quick. We have a 9-unit in Rio Piedras, which is considered el casco urbano. Casco urbano basically means the urban area that they designated for these projects, for these, what do you call it, incentives?
For these incentives, yeah.
So if you guys are looking for 7 units or more, we have them. You need to contact the Flip Flop Flipper or myself, and we'll send you the link. We are selling it, and we don't qualify for it because we bought it before this happened.
Right.
But anybody that buys it now, today, qualifies for the purchase plus renovation and all the money that you collect throughout the lifetime of the building, or how long.
Yeah, and you get the tax credits over a 3 or 4 year period of time.
Yeah, and
it depends on when you make your first dollar. But for instance, if you finish you bought it this year, finish the renovation by Christmas and rent it for 1 day, the whole year counts as the first year. So then next year you'd get your first tranche of tax credit money, which you can liquidate at 93 to 95 cents on the dollar here on the island. It basically turns into cash, goes into the bank. It's not taxable. Your rental income from the 9 units is also not taxable, and even through 2025.
Yeah, but
once that expires, you'll still only pay a 4% corporate tax rate.
Correct.
And you pay things like 25 cents on the dollar on property taxes. You pay
a bunch of stuff.
50% on. Anyway, we did a long content video where we did a little deep dive. I'm going to talk a lot about Act 182 over the next few months, and we're definitely investing this way. McKenna, to answer your question, what it did immediately for me, when I heard about it on Monday, it passed in July or August. When I learned about it on Monday last week, so 1 week ago today, I immediately started thinking of projects that I was planning to do as hospitality that now I could do them as long-term rentals. It's a lot easier to renovate those projects. It's a lot easier to manage those projects, and it more aligns with what we like to do. I mean, that's the kind of investing that we've always done and we like to do. I think it also helps a wider range of people on the island. So
now, when you say easier, what specifically do you mean compared?
So I think the renovation is a lighter renovation. When I do hospitality, we're making it really nice. So we're spending a lot more money than if we're renovating for long-term rents. After we're done renovating through Act 60 tourism, you have to employ people to be on the job, on the property for 2 8-hour shifts, so 16 hours a day. Someone has to also be on call that last shift.
Plus
you won't need any of that. Plus you have to furnish it. Yep. Plus you have to get the right licenses. You have all kinds of extra hoops that you have to jump through. Yeah, you have to have internet. You're definitely paying for power and water. All of those things are ongoing, and managing those projects is,
I know.
It's way harder
so I brought it up.
than managing a long-term rental property. Like, say you do the same project, same building you take and you turn it into a 7-unit long-term rental. Now you put Section 8 renters in there, and you basically can sit back and let the checks come in. It's a lot easier.
Okay. Aaron's asking about capital gains on this. Does this tax law affect capital gains? And I'm going to ask a further question. Do you have to pay capital gains on your tax credits? Is that a taxable income?
Yeah. So the way that we understand it is that it will be similar to the tax credits that you would get through tourism. And again, check with your professionals, your tax professionals, but
Lawyers.
I believe that those are either non-taxable or taxed at that corporate rate of 4%. But no, McKenna, it wouldn't be a capital gain. So these tax credits are not a capital gain. I don't believe that this new law eliminates capital gains when you sell down the road. I think that you would still pay capital gains tax, but that's a great question. We're going to find an expert who can come in and help us. We'll probably do it as a masterclass at some point in the near future.
And where can I watch this masterclass?
You tell me.
Me?
Yeah.
I think you can watch it over at Apex. The link is in the description. McKenna's also going to put it there. And remember, just for this month, you can join for $75 a month.
$79 a month
for this month. For the lifetime that you're staying there.
And guys, if you missed JC Morales, you've got to join just so that you can watch him. He was dropping dimes like, my goodness, like no other. I was learning from him, and I'm in business with him, and I've heard him talk before, but I asked him ahead of time to give us some like takeaways that we could actually use in real time to make money. And I thought he did it from the start to the finish. He was amazing.
And JC was a heavy hitter. Do we have bigger heavy hitters coming to the Apex group masterclass this month, or is it just that guy?
It's just that guy.
Oh yeah, you sure?
Yeah, I think so. Who's bigger than JC Morales?
Oh well, I could think of someone, maybe Jerry Norton.
Well, if we could get Jerry Norton, that'd be a score. He's a pretty big deal. I don't know if you know, but he's a flipping genius.
He is a flipping genius.
All right. Enough about Apex, let's talk about Monday Night Live.
All right. Is there a minimum amount of renovations to do to qualify for the 40% tax credit and a minimum total investment amount?
I think that that's possible. I think that it may be $1 million total investment. However, the way that I've read the article, so I've read an article, and it definitely says this minimum, but then it also says that distressed and abandoned properties would qualify as well, which would mean to me that a lower investment on these things that are considered distressed and abandoned would also qualify. So again, it's so new that I don't think that we know exactly what the rules are yet. And nobody, to my knowledge, has ever gotten one of these tax credits or done one of these deals yet. I mean, it literally just passed in August. So that's just 2 months ago.
Hey, McKenna, I just sent you the article. Could you put it in?
Let's post the article that everybody can read it.
Yeah,
and that's where we're getting our information. This one article, I went on and Googled it. There really isn't much more out there. So if anybody finds more, and we're talking to a couple of people who are experts. I'm trying to get an interview with one of these lawyers from this company that wrote the article so that we can ask them some of these questions.
That's cool.
All right. The article is in the chat here, guys. So
is there any questions from anybody yet?
Yeah, we just have those two here. BK Breeze says hello.
What's going on, BK?
I have a question on the math behind this. So let's say I buy your 7-unit for $1 million, and I'm assuming there's some kind of upside potential on that.
Yeah, so we have a 9-unit that we would sell for probably less than $600,000.
Now, will that qualify?
Nope, that's not right.
Nope, less than $700,000.
We have a 9-unit that we would sell for less than $700,000. $699,000 we're asking. It would qualify. It's in the zone. We believe we've looked at the map and that it's in the zone.
Okay.
That it would qualify. So you'd have a $700,000 purchase, and then you'd do another $200,000 or $300,000 worth of renovations. If you needed the $1 million, you could get there on this, and the math would still work. I believe because this place has been distressed and abandoned for a long time, that it qualifies without the $1 million investment. So,
but the question is, so my purchase is also included with the renovation to make the $1 million?
As far as I know, that's what I believe. Guys, this is new. Like you can't hold me to this. If I'm telling it wrong, it's just because I read this article that you can now read, and you'll know just as much as I do.
Everybody's going to point the finger at you, but I saw this guy on Monday Night Live tell me I could do this. What's going on?
So the math behind this, let's just say I buy it for $700,000. I put $300,000 into it. I'm all in for $1 million. I'm then going to get a check for $400,000. Plus, I'm going to have it rented. So
you're going to get tax credits for $400,000, and then you sell those tax credits at 93 cents on the dollar. You said
93 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, that's what he sold them for last time.
So you're getting what, 37.2% return just from the tax credits, plus any appreciation, plus any equity, plus any rental amount. So your minimum base investment right now is 37.2% because of the government. That is pretty crazy.
Basically,
Pretty sick,
you get the
guys.
renovation back in a little
It's
bit.
like this. If you bought it to do it as a flip, you could instead do it as a long-term rental play
and
basically make the same amount of money as if you were. I mean, if I was going to do a flip and I could make 37%, I generally would be happy with that. The island of Puerto Rico, we usually would do a little bit better than that. But if I could make 37% and hold on to the property and have equity built in and have a property where we know the rents are going to go up over time, what's better than that, right? Like, that's really good. So when people say that these incentives don't work and they don't affect change, they're just wrong, because I literally heard about it last Monday, and I've already got everyone that I talk to on a regular basis out looking for properties inside of these zones, because for sure we're going to invest in this way. I'm excited about it. I much rather invest in long-term housing than I would in tourism. I fell into tourism because they were giving us 40% tax credits and you could make a pile of cash on them. But if I can make pile of cash on long-term rentals and my life is easier and I help more people, I'd rather do that.
So here's my question. So if Corporation A buys 2 separate houses, you think that would count if they're right next to each other?
That would work for a hospitality play.
It won't work.
So I think that it's very possible that it could work for this.
So you get 4 units here, 4 units here. You got 8.
I
got to
think
do
that's
significant
possible.
renovations.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's all in the same corporation.
Yeah.
Now,
But
this
we're
might not
asking
work
questions
because
that honestly I don't think anybody
Why
knows
don't
the
you know
answer
these
to.
things?
I mean, I could make it up. I could pretend like I know. That's what a lot of people would do, right? They're just, oh, yeah, sure. Listen, when you're doing and getting these tax credits, you damn sure better be ready to jump through the hoops and do the things that the way that the government wants you to. And one thing is for sure, if you don't set it up ahead of time, don't expect to get anything from it. We hear this all the time, right? Oh, I've got a 7-unit that I keep on Airbnb. Does it qualify for tax credits? I've had it for 3 years. No, it doesn't qualify because you didn't set it up. You didn't jump through the hoops. You didn't do it the way that the government wants you to do it.
You got to start
Well,
again.
that brings us to our next question here. Hey guys, how you doing? My question is, how about if I purchased last year, but I'm renovating this year? Will I qualify for the new?
I don't think so. I don't believe you'll qualify.
Look,
that's
now,
why
what
we
if
said
they
our 9-unit,
sold
we don't
to a
believe will
new-
qualify.
You would
What
have
if
to
they sold to a
buy.
new company?
You would have to get a partner or set up a new corporation that buys that property to this year, right now.
Yeah, I think if you owned the property before August when the thing passed,
yeah,
you will not qualify. If you've already been renovating it for a while, you don't qualify.
Will they check
you need to
see if it's a new ownership, like if company A sells to company B, but it's the same owners? They will check that.
Of course. They'll check that, but there's ways that you can have an arm's length transaction by changing the new ownership. So let's say McKenna, Adon, and Robert own a property right now, and we want to sell to a new entity, and we become McKenna, Adon, Robert, and new person for Newco. I think there's a way that you can make that work. Again, you'll need, this is tricky stuff. You'll need to talk to a lawyer, make sure that you set it up properly. It could also be by subtraction too, right? Like, so the new company could be, instead of McKenna, Adon, and Robert, it could be Adon and McKenna, Robert falls out, and a new person comes in and takes his place. Now that probably would do it and make it so that it's so that Newco could qualify.
Jerry's asking, how difficult would it be to buy with an LLC?
That's not difficult at all. That's preferably the way that you would do it. You'd set off a 1L LLC to make one of these purchases, and that's what we've done on 200 purchases on the island, 180 purchases on the island.
Probably more than that.
Maybe more.
Reuse the.
Hey guys, ask your questions in the chat, but while we're waiting, I've got another one for you. So there are rules on, you have to have marketable appreciation, right, on these tourism tax credits, the way it currently works. It's the same for this new one, right?
Like a marketing budget?
Yeah, say that again, McKenna. What about?
So you for the tourism tax credit, you have to buy a place and renovate it and make it marketably more attractive, right? You have to add value somehow to get the tax credit. It's the same for the long-term rentals. Like I can't buy something that's move-in ready and qualify.
No, so it has to be fixed.
No, I mean, I don't think that that's clear. I would say this with the tourism tax credits. If you found a place that has never been a part of the Act 60 or Act 74 or dedicated as a hotel, then you could buy something that exists and turn it from whatever it is into a hotel, and you don't have to do significant renovations or anything. You just have to get it qualified and jump through their hoops and set it up ahead of time. I believe that to be true. I think it's possible that if you were to buy something that was out there and either vacant or not operating as a long-term rental play and turned it into a long-term rental play, as long as you spent over $1 million, that it would qualify without renovations. But again, we need to verify all this. It's brand new. The easier play is probably to buy the value add thing, buy the vacant, value add, and then for sure, I would believe your purchase, your renovation costs, and your first year operations would all count.
So this is my initial thought on how I would cheese the system. And who knows if this would work. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But what if I went and bought something in the zone, a 12-unit building, I spend $1 million on it, and I get it to a decent level of condition. It's livable. Maybe it's nice. Maybe it's not that nice. Doesn't matter. And I sell it to another company for $1.5 million that I'm also a part of. I get my 40% tax credit under the new act. Can I then sell it to a new company that I own that is going to use that same property for a tourism venture and get another 40% stacked on, and then go do further renovations to get it up to hotel grade and kind of double dip on the 40% tax credits?
I think that if you did that quickly, you'd get yourself in trouble. I think that if that was a 10 or a 15-year thing that happened kind of organically over time, so you buy it, you get the tax credits the first time, you hang on to it for 10 or 15 years, you sell it to Newco comes in and does significant renovations and turns it into a hotel, then yes, you'd get tax credits twice. But you can get tax credits twice on anything that you do significant renovations for. So I could buy an existing hotel, and as long as I do significant renovations, I can reapply for the tax credits and get the 40%. So
you don't even need to change ownership. You just needed to.
No, you have to change. You have to change ownership. I think it has to change ownership. Well, that's a good question. Do you have to change ownership? That's a great question. You might be able to stay with the same ownership in the tourism. Somebody needs to ask a lawyer these questions,
and it's probably going to be us live on Apex.
It's probably going to be us. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to play one. I don't even like lawyers.
It's true. I saw this in real life.
I am married to a lawyer, so I like at least one lawyer. But for the most part, yeah, lawyers generally they're good for what they're good for, but it's not much.
Let me tell you something. If this guy invites you to go to a closing, just be warned. It might not be the typical closing you're used to. Just know that.
Yeah,
guys, I think it's the best short he's ever released. But it made me laugh out loud on my phone just watching it. I had no idea what it was, and it's him in a closing room. He's like, here's me, the buyer. Here's the sellers. Here's the realtor. And over there in the corner, sulking, is the lawyer we don't like.
That's the baby version.
Yeah, that was the real thought version of that, McKenna. I wish we had videoed it.
Oh, man.
Because I said to Adonis where we pulled up, I said, hey, you want to come to a closing? You want to see some fireworks? But all I said was, do you want to come to this closing? So Adon's got no idea what's going to go on. I walk in the room, and before I sit down, they introduce all of the players, and this lawyer's sitting there. He's wearing a mask. And the first thing I say as I walk into the room is, so you're the lawyer that's trying to fuck up our deal.
100%. I literally sat down. He walks in behind me. He's like, so you're the lawyer's trying to fuck up my deal. He sits down. He's like, you changed one word. One word on the contract. You give me my deposit, I'm walking out.
Yeah, it got intense.
It was pretty good. It was so good.
It got intense.
Well,
And
for
when
the
you
people
don't
that
expect it,
don't
it's
know,
great.
You know, we were buying a deal, and this lawyer kept trying to change the terms, add in
100%.
additional things that weren't agreed to, trying to blow up the deal. I don't know why he was trying to do it, and the sellers didn't want to do it, the realtors didn't want to do it, but this guy just had a vendetta out there to change the terms of the deal.
It wasn't even that. The sellers and the seller rep didn't know that was going on until he blew up. Because it was twice already that the lawyer changed the closing date on them when they were ready to go that day.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was $1 million purchase. This wasn't like some insignificant thing that he was trying to do. And ultimately, guys, what he was trying to do was I was buying something as is, whereas, and he wanted me to give additional assurances and sign a hold harmless for anything that they had ever done. Like if they were dumping toxic waste, you know, into the ground or something, then I would hold them harmless. And I wasn't prepared to do that. So he
made it seem pretty bad.
It didn't go well for him because it was funny. The realtor and the seller walked out of the room. This is before I did the short McKenna where he's sulking in the corner, and he literally was sulking in the corner. They walked out of the room and the lawyer said, "Do you want me to come with you?" And they completely ignored him. Walked out of the room for 10 seconds, walked back in, shook my hand and said, "We have a deal." Never even looked the lawyer in the eye, never acknowledged his existence again for the rest of the day. And we signed and had the closing. And then I did the little video that you saw where I said, "There's the lawyer we don't like."
Yeah, but even the lawyer got paid.
Lawyers only, you know, unless your lawyer's protecting you, if a lawyer comes in at the end of a deal that you think you've got signed up, it can only be trouble.
Yeah.
They're not great business people. And my apologies to any great lawyers out there that aren't going to fuck up deals, because I'm sure there's one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that are out there that are trying to do good business. And just like I think most realtors, guys, are not good. And that's an opportunity for you.
Oh my
Realtors,
God.
lawyers, they gum up the system. And if you're able to break through that and add value there and solve problems, that's how you get these deals.
McKenna,
bad realtors are a major way that we get good deals. And I think bad lawyers probably are as well.
Hey, I wonder, do you guys care about this story? Is this interesting to anybody, or are we just talking and having fun? Because I'm ready to answer questions if you got questions, or I'll keep telling you war stories.
Yeah, well, just add what McKenna said. I put the house on market a month ago. I sent it to 25 different realtors, and only one of them is really showing the house.
Yeah,
the whole time. So it's crazy.
Yeah, need a group friendly
that's
lawyer.
That's a weird thing in Puerto Rico too, is that realtors. I don't know what they do, how they sell anything.
We'll find out.
Well, guys, ask your questions in the chat. If not, we'll keep telling war stories and keep doing the power hour.
So the reason he has a bloody toe is because because you can't stop picking at it.
Oh, yeah,
that's the real reason.
I thought it was the type 2 diabetes and that I can't stop eating cake.
Oh, no, that can't be it.
That's not it. No.
Well, besides that, lawyers and realtors can kill a deal, and we love the horror stories, so people love it.
All right, well, good, because I love to tell them. I mean, we've got years of them, right? Like
he tells some really good stories.
So well, I've got something topical. I've got a hurricane barreling down at me in Orlando here. Do you have any good stories about hurricanes coming through Florida? Opportunities it creates, the way that insurance companies pay out, and just how this whole system works. Awesome. What are we expecting to see in the next year after this storm?
Yeah,
buy up.
So great question, McKenna. That's why we're in Puerto Rico, is because a hurricane came to Puerto Rico, and we have been through this hurricane cycle. At the time, we had been through it a half a dozen times, maybe more, and now we've done it in Puerto Rico, and we've had a few more hurricanes there in Florida. Seems like Florida gets hit with 5 or 6 hurricanes for every one that Puerto Rico gets. Knock on wood. Big target. But what you can expect, and it is going to be a powerful storm. Right now, is it like a 4 or a 5?
It's a 5 heading towards Tampa.
really, really wicked bad storm. Holy cow. So that's going to hit in Tampa and then come right over the state of Florida. And it's definitely going to affect all of our rental properties, probably from the Titusville, Cocoa area, all the way up to Jacksonville, Florida, and certainly everything we've got in Central Florida. And
how does insurance work? Can you like get it the day before the storm and be covered?
No, they shut
you
it
can't
down.
get insurance if there's a named storm within like 2,000 miles or something. You can't get insurance. So
Oof.
Yeah.
there's no insuring because the storm is coming. Trust me, I've tried. Yeah, we've tried to do that a couple of times. That doesn't work. What you can expect is, and I want to say, all of what I would say you can expect as a real estate investor comes after the initial cleanup. So, like, I don't think that the storm comes through on Wednesday and that there's opportunities for, or at least you shouldn't think that there's opportunities for real estate investors on Thursday. You need to go and be a good neighbor, go and help people clean up and dig themselves out and cut the trees off their cars and their roofs and stuff like that. Don't be like those people that showed up in Hawaii after the fire and said, hey, here's some money. There'll be time for that, but
not right now.
Give the people a chance, for crying out loud. It's a devastating storm that's going to come, and it's going to, hopefully it doesn't kill people, but it's going to cause billions of dollars worth of damage. It's a terrible, terrible time. It's a tragedy. What will happen though, 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, the insurance money will start to pay out, and there will be people whose houses have been wrecked that will take the insurance money, which is going to be like 100% of what their house is worth, and then turn around and sell you what's left of the house at 50 cents on the dollar. So there's going to be a place for real estate investors to come in and buy those properties and make money. We've done it, like I said, a half a dozen times, and we've seen the cycle. You have this initial recovery, then insurance starts to pay out. Maybe the government prints some more money or something. Right now, they say they're out of money for this last hurricane. Did you see what's going on with this last hurricane, McKenna? Last week, the hurricane goes through and has wiped out like 4 states, and they're saying FEMA's out of money and the government doesn't have any money. So I don't know what's going to happen now that another powerful storm's going to come through, but hopefully the government will come up with some money somehow.
If you vote for Harris,
they can turn on the
money
printing
comes back.
machines.
Yeah,
Harris is the one that's not doing it though. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, the insurance will pay out. The FEMA money, the government money will start to pour in. There will be a massive rebuild. 5 years after the storm, you won't even know that the storm has come, and people will have started to forget just in time for another storm to come if you live in Florida or maybe Puerto Rico. But it is I think we got something where, you know, as value add real estate investors, there's a cycle to it, and there's certainly profits that are made. And I don't think that it's preying on victims. I mean, I think there are people that are just going to get their insurance money and be ready to get out of the way of the storm and move back to New York City or wherever they came from, where they don't have these storms happening all the time, because they are happening way more often. Like New York gets them.
Yeah,
New York recently has. They're happening really way often now.
Well, and speaking of more storms, Drew is asking, do you think end buyers are going to start getting scared to buy in flood zones and coastal areas with these increased hurricanes?
For sure. That happens every time, Drew. There's going to be a time period where people are going to say, I don't want to go to this place because there's a storm all the time. But again, 5 years from now, if there's not another storm that comes in its place, people have short memories. And they're never going to make more coastal land. People are always going to want to buy the coastal land. But if people start to make those claims, hey, I don't want to buy in Fort Myers, for instance, then what an opportunity it presents for someone to go in and buy something cheap and hang on to it for a really long time. People are still going to live there. Maybe it doesn't appreciate as fast as it has for the last few years, but it'll come back.
Do you think there's going to be a bunch of senior retired people that are going to be fed up with it and not want to continue to own in those areas?
Yes, absolutely. That happens every single time in every area that a big, powerful named storm comes. Then you're going to see a percentage of the population say, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That happened on the island of Puerto Rico after Maria. What? 500,000, 600,000 people
500,000, yeah.
left the island, and they were just like, forget this. They'd had Hurricane Irma, and then 2 weeks later, they have the storm of the century come, and literally 500,000+ people flying out. When we were coming here at Christmas of 2017, we're the only ones flying in. The power's still out, and the planes are loaded up with people coming out. And you can probably remember that, McKenna. There was a massive inflow of people to Central Florida.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
I think a lot of them did come back, and hopefully, rightfully, that more of them will continue to come back, especially if they're sitting there and getting hit in Orlando going, hey, I could be back home on my island getting hit by a hurricane, or I could be here getting hit by a hurricane.
Yeah.
Might as well go home.
Well, and I was reading some Instagram comments or some YouTube short comments, and it feels like there's a sentiment of Puerto Ricans that want Puerto Ricans to come back, and we'll see if that happens. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens too with this storm, where I wonder if Tampa gets hit really badly, but Orlando doesn't. I wonder if people move inward and people start trying to congregate in the center of the state too, just to be away from the beaches and the floods and things like that. I guess we'll see.
I think all of that stuff that we're talking about does happen, but people have short memories.
What's the center of Orlando?
Orlando is the
Orlando,
center.
right?
Orlando's the
Yeah.
center of the state. Yeah. We're about an hour from the coast to the east. We're about 2 hours from the coast to the west.
Yeah. Apparently, it's supposed to be only a Category 1 by the time it gets to Orlando. We'll see. It feels like the storm came from a cloud and turned into a Category 5 overnight. So,
I mean, man, it was a tropical storm yesterday or the day before, so it really has grown powerful fast.
yeah. But hopefully the projections are right and we won't be too bad here. Hey guys, ask your questions in the chat. Let us know if there's anything else you want to talk about. We're happy to talk about anything.
Guys, while you're writing those questions, don't forget to like the video. It helps us get out there more.
Yeah, how many people do we have watching right now, McKenna?
24 people watching right now.
How many likes do we have?
Let's see. I don't think I can see on here. Oh, we've got
See, we got Leslie coming our way.
8 likes, 9 likes
do?
now. I just liked it. We got a Facebook like just now. Nice, from
Hell
Carlos.
yeah.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.
I see 11 likes. I just liked it. That's number 12. So we got 20 something people. That means, 8 or 9 of you people haven't liked. Shame on you. Come on. Give us that like. We don't ask for much here. Boost
Just to
our
listen to us
self-esteem.
ramble and
Boost our
talk about real
self-esteem,
estate.
right? Let us know you love us.
Man,
Hit
I
the
just don't
like.
want to ask questions today. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, guys, really, this format does work best when we have questions to answer. Yeah, I mean, we can keep talking, and there's a hurricane coming that we need to prep for. McKenna, have you talked to any of the tenants that we have? Like, are they prepped and ready, do you believe?
No.
I have not spoken to mine or yours, so I'm not sure. No.
I spoke to your sister, and she was
She's
prepping.
prepping. I
was-
think there's definitely a sense of urgency here in Central Florida. I was at Publix earlier. It's a madhouse. So the word is out. People know a bad storm's coming. So we're definitely I think that our tenants know that something's happening.
I think that Denise lets our tenants know. I mean, hopefully that's, we send out an email and say, hey guys, prep for the storm. You could, because if the storm's bad enough, people are going to go for days, maybe even weeks without power. And that's a tough thing to do. So being ready, get the gas tanks full of gas, get the bathtub filled up with water. Do you guys do that, McKenna, at your house? I told your sister to do it.
Yep. I'm gonna.
Hey.
She bought some water, and
Got it.
mom's got doomsday supplies at the house already. So
Got a question.
I have another question for you.
okay.
Who do you recommend to assist with tax exemption process at the time of purchase?
I think I would recommend the same people that are doing the tourism exemption stuff. So one company is called DECA. There's a lot of HES stores on the island that specialize in that. So anybody who was specializing already in doing the tax exemption stuff for Act 60 tourism will learn this and be ready for it. But to be honest, I've reached out to a couple of them, and no one has had anybody reach out to them yet to do one. So this is like super, super new, and you may have to do it yourself.
How about a lawyer?
Well,
Probably those guys who wrote the article.
if you just go find any lawyer to do this,
No,
you're wasting your time.
no, but the guys who wrote the article, for example,
yes,
that's a lawyer group.
yeah.
So that's where I would start.
They
if I'm
would be a
looking
good
for
place to start. I like the guys at DECA. They do tourism stuff, and I've been in contact with them. They said that they're studying it, and they're gonna be ready for it in the next couple of weeks. So I can't think of off the top of my head anyone else that's going to be any more prepared than that. I'm sure that if you were using someone to do tourism tax credit stuff, they're going to be in the know about it as well.
Yeah. Do you have to put tenants in a hotel if the place gets destroyed after a storm?
That's a great question. Do you have to put tenants in a hotel? So a tree falls on the roof.
Yep.
And the place is destroyed and considered unlivable. I don't think that you're obligated to put them in a hotel. I think that they're responsible for their own housing, and that they also should have some renter's insurance, and they should have a way to take care of themselves.
You don't put a natural disaster clause or anything in your.
I think our lease does have that.
If it does, I'm unaware of what would the natural disaster clause be like. Hey, the natural disaster comes, you're on your own.
I think so.
Basically,
I mean, that's not funny. I shouldn't laugh, but I don't know if our lease has that. We have had trees fall on houses where there wasn't a storm, and we have put them in hotels. I mean, if the storm comes and knocks 30 families out of their home, we'd go bankrupt if we tried to house everybody. So, I mean, at some level, people have to be responsible for themselves and are on their own. We want to do the best that we can for our tenants. So we'll be like Johnny on the spot and out there cleaning stuff up. Every time a storm has come through Orlando, as soon as we're on the tail end of it, I jump in the truck and start driving around and looking to see what needs to be done. We've got a good friend who's got a tree service. And I mean, I can remember in 2004, after it was like 4 hurricanes that summer. And after each one of them, I went out and found the problems that we had and arranged for people to get their roofs fixed and get the trees cut off and clean up yards and stuff. So hopefully it won't be as bad as that summer was. That was pretty brutal.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
All
but
right.
I don't think you're obligated. That obligated is different than being a good landlord and being willing to.
Yeah.
Yep. Adon and Robbie, what can you tell us about Ponce? Jonathan and the group posted a nice 4-bedroom with a pool ready for arbitrage.
I like Ponce. I like the town. I think it's got a lot of cool stuff. The problem is it's really far away, and unless your Airbnb guest wants to stay outside of the metro area, it'd be a great spot.
Yeah.
Ponce in the last couple of years was hit with pretty bad earthquakes, so the property value went down. So I think there is a lot of good opportunity over there.
Yeah.
It's an older. It's kind of like San Juan. It's an old town, a lot of old architecture, and a lot of that stuff there. It's not that it can't be repaired, but it might be deemed like, what do you call it when you
Historical. Yeah. Oh, it might be. Yeah.
It might be
with
both.
The earthquake.
It might be both. It's historical, and also no one can live in it, so you can't fix it. And if you do, you got to get a permit to break it down.
But a 4-bedroom house with a pool in Ponce that's ready to go on Airbnb. If I could buy it based off of long-term rents, and I thought that it was a good enough return on my investment, and then turn it into an Airbnb and take a chance, that's what I would do with it. I think Ponce is a beautiful, beautiful town. It's actually one of my favorite towns on the island. We have never invested in Ponce.
Oh, he said arbitrage.
But he's talking about arbitrage, so you would rent it.
Yeah,
that's even better then. I mean, so if you did the 7-day rule that JC Morales talked about inside of the Apex Masterclass last week, and I thought this was just a brilliant thing. He says, how much can you rent it for per night? Multiply that by 7, and that's what you can afford to pay in rent. So if you want to do the arbitrage, There you go. I think it would work, right? Like, so we had a guy also in the master class saying he's doing Airbnb and buy him own. And
Yeah,
when he
that
told
was-
us the
wild.
prices he was getting and
Yep.
where we know the property is, I mean, buy 'em own is not something you would think of as a touristic area. Ponce is. Ponce, they're talking about bringing cruise ships in.
Yes.
I like the idea of investing in Ponce, especially if the cruise ships are coming and you can get a foothold in there and start a business that works before they get there. Oh my God.
It could be like an old San
You
Juan
talk
for
about something where if you can make money now while there's not a ton going on, and then the cruise ships show up and you're just going to see your business go crazy.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a good arbitrage spot.
And Ponce compared to San Juan has a lot of things that happen during the weekends, like the Ponce Film Harmonic goes and plays in the plaza and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can.
There's some really good restaurants. Yep. You've got a rum factory up there on the mountain that's not Bacardi. Don Q, I think, is over there.
It's Don Q or Barrilito. I don't know.
I think it's Don Q.
So
city, there's some stuff going on, plus the water.
Cool.
So that's the Caribbean Ocean, not the Atlantic. So on the north coast, we're in the Atlantic. Down there in Ponce, they're on the Caribbean. The Caribbean is just gorgeous water.
It's where the Spanish-speaking fish are.
That's where the Spanish-speaking are in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
They speak English up here on the north.
Yeah. We're trying to talk.
Aaron,
they're at least bilingual.
Alan wants to do this deal with you.
Let's do it.
All right. Alan's asking,
link.
do you know how different Puerto Rican insurance companies behave after hurricane disasters? Good faith, speed. Is it different from the States or is it the same?
I want to tell you it's the same. Insurance companies are going to try to find a reason not to pay, whether you're in Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, Puerto Rico. If they can find a reason not to pay, that's what they're going to do. There's going to be insurance companies going out of business right now in the mainland USA because of the storm that happened. What was it, Helene? Yeah. Because of that storm, some insurance companies will go out of business and not pay. It happens, I mean, pretty often. Probably it will happen after this storm hits Tampa. Definitely after Maria, there were insurance companies that didn't pay or they slow paid. All of them probably tried to underpay. So I think that they're pretty predictable. They're going to do everything they can to pay the least that they can. And if it gets too expensive for them, I think they'll go out of business. And yeah, listen, guys, that's why we've self-insured for the last 15 years on most of our properties. So rather than having property insurance that we're worried that they're not going to pay out on, we just pay for the damage as it comes.
And that works as your portfolio gets bigger, guys. If you have one, get insurance.
Yeah, if you have one or you have one really nice and expensive property, just get insurance on it, right? But if you've got 60 or 70 doors across the island and you're saving money on insurance for years at a time, it does add up pretty good. Yeah. I think it's also wise to have a liability policy. So remember that.
Hey guys, we are at 17 likes. There's 30 people watching right now. Please hit the like button. It helps us out. Next question. How would Section 8 deal with a hurricane situation where the house is destroyed?
Wow, they must have other places that they would take those people. So I've never experienced it. But it is the government, Section 8, and they're going to take care of their people. So I believe that if you're in Section 8 and your house gets walloped by a storm, the government's going to move you to another house. How quickly they're going to move you to another house, I don't know. I mean, you know, this is still a government agency. While I think Section 8 is one of the better run agencies that the government has probably ever had, it's still the government. If you're relying on the government, I think it sets you up for a lot of disappointment, but they probably have a policy that they'll rehouse you.
What would happen, for example, if the roof starts leaking or something like that? You're required to fix that. Will they stop paying you until you fix like those things? Or?
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
And so what Adon's asking is, if you're renting to a Section 8 tenant and then there are repairs that need to happen. And as a landlord, you don't make those repairs. They're going to come and inspect that house pretty regularly. And when they find that it no longer meets Section 8 requirements, they will hold back the checks until you get it fixed. And rightfully so in that case. So
Was it accrued, or it's just you don't get that month?
no, it would
Yeah,
accrue. You're still, I mean, you're still owed the money.
Mm-hmm.
People are still living there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the same thing, Section 8 or not. If you've got a leaky roof and you're a good landlord, you're going to fix the leaky roof.
Of course.
If you don't fix the leaky roof, it doesn't mean that the person who lives there doesn't owe the money. They do owe the money. If they don't want to owe the money because of the leaky roof, they should move out.
Yeah. Does the tax depreciation write-off to homes work the same in Puerto Rico as it does in the States?
Read it again, please.
Does tax depreciation on homes work the same in Puerto Rico?
For rental homes.
For rental homes, yeah.
For rental homes, yeah. But yeah, it does.
Jerry says fix La Junca and the Taurus will go back to Ponce.
What's
have-
La Junca?
La Junta.
What's that?
It's a government, the government group. La Junta, like, how do I say it?
Fix the government?
Basically, it's what I say.
Fix the government and people go back to Ponce? Well, how long have we been trying to fix the government?
You're better off starting an Airbnb business.
Yeah. Hey guys, also we're only at 18 likes. Only one person liked. There's 32 of us watching. Hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything.
Come on, guys. It's easy. Hit that like button.
Easy. Hit it. Do it. All right. Do you guys have properties in the storm path? I have 20.
Yeah, and I have at least 40 in the storm path. My business partner, Dave McCall, has his home where he lives is exactly where the storm is projected to come in.
And he just built that.
Like they put his house right on the map and said, this is where the storm's going to make landfall.
Yeah.
So he just built it.
And he just built that house. Yeah. He's
Well,
just,
one
is
thing
that
to
right?
say-
Still, he's just north of Tampa. So that was earlier. It looked like it was coming in just north of Tampa.
I know that he's insured. No question.
He's
about
definitely
that.
insured. Yeah.
Dave does not take that risk.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he does.
All right.
Not being
It
insured
is-
for his
with
house.
me.
Oh, with you.
But not in your personal house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan's asking, is Sabana Seca, I don't know if I'm saying that right, a good
Yeah,
area
Sabana
for
Seca.
Airbnb?
I don't know.
Where's Savannah Seca?
It's
Yeah,
near
Trujillo,
Levittown
Arco.
and Tua Baja.
Baba, there you go.
So we have friends that are doing an excellent Airbnb business in Levittown. We have heard of people doing great Airbnb business in Tua Baja. So
Here's the thing about Airbnb. It's gotten more to the point where it's more experience than where you're staying.
Yeah.
So if you have a very nice Airbnb in the mountains and it's just, mountain views and it has this whole experience of like outdoor showers and stuff like that, people will pay for that stuff. Look, like you said, we found out some guy in Bayamon. It's basically it's a
not
neighborhood.
some guy, it's a guy who's in our Apex group.
Yes.
And he's
An Apex
doing
member.
Airbnb business in Bayamon. And I
And
was
it's just a
shocked
regular
at
house.
the price that he was getting. It's a regular house in a regular area, not particularly touristic.
Yeah.
And it's not super special from what I understood. And guys, I don't want to brag too much about the Apex masterclasses, but JC Morales talked about Airbnb and how to make piles of money in it just last Thursday. And it is absolutely worth the price of admission to go. If you only did one thing, join Apex and went and watched that, it's worth it. If you want to invest in Airbnb, he was really, really bringing it.
Guys, and if you think you missed out, you didn't, because we record all master classes and
Well,
we keep them on file.
Right. But what I'm saying is join, go watch the video.
Yep.
Go watch it. It's
And
worth
guys,
it.
if you join, watch the video and cancel, we'll give you your money back if you don't like it.
No, they
Risk-free.
watch the video, they don't get their money back.
No, they get their money back. Risk-free, 14 days. So nothing to lose. If you think that we're full of it, you can cancel. Drew's asking, is Guaynabo, Puerto Rico worth buying in? My friend has a place he inherited that he wants to sell.
Yes.
I love Guaynabo. Guaynabo is the first place I lived when I moved to the island. I just had lunch there today. Guaynabo is phenomenal. So Guaynabo is part of the San Juan metro area. You can certainly have long-term rental plays there. There are lots of affluent people that are living there. It's the most affluent suburb of San Juan, I would say. And it's part of the Metro. I think I said that, but
The
it's
McMansion's
a
there.
great place. Oh yeah, we're building a $3 million home there, the McMansion. I love Guaynabo. Definitely worth investing. You make your money when you buy, so buy it right. Be in a position where you can buy it and renovate it and be all in for 70% of what you expect to sell it for. There's your
Buying it
formula.
right. He's getting it for free. It's inheritance.
Getting it for free is really good.
It's buying it real right.
Yeah, that's buying it really right.
Drew would be buying it from his friend, I think.
Oh,
So speaking of attorneys, is there a list somewhere or attorneys that you recommend?
we're putting a list together now.
Yeah,
Over on Apex.
and I've basically invited my Rolodex to join us in Apex. So we'll have lawyers who have done closings for us that do a really good job. We'll have our lawyer who helped set up our corporation in there. Lots of realtors. Earlier we were picking on realtors a little bit, but there are some really good realtors on the island. So I've invited all of those people to come into Apex. Really, that's the place where we're gonna just kind of invite our Rolodex to come and be a part of the community. So join us over on Apex.
Yep.
Uh-oh, the paid link doesn't work. It should work.
Oh my God.
What? Send them the link again.
I'll put it back in there. Let me try again.
See. So, is there any more questions?
Yeah, do we have more questions?
The paid link's working on my side. Try again. Hope everyone is well. Can you explain a little bit more about the self-insurance and how you do it?
Yeah, self-insurance is basically a fancy term that says we don't insure our properties, right? So we have a kind of master policy liability, a liability master policy that covers us in case of something awful happening. But if the pipes break and the property floods, we're not insured for that. And so we have to eat that cost out of pocket. What it has looked like for us is, because before coming to the island of Puerto Rico, we were buying about 100 to 120 houses a year, and where many people would be buying insurance policies on those properties. And let's say they cost $1,000 a property. We were saving $120,000 a year by not insuring our properties. The amount of insurance claims that I've had over a 25 going on 26 year time that I've been doing this, I think I could count on one hand. So we did have a Hurricane Irma that hit Puerto Rico the same year that Maria hit here, and it went right up the coast. Our houses were all in the path. So we had properties in Titusville, properties in Orlando, and properties in Jacksonville that all got hurt by that hurricane. And the grand total for us on the repairs ended up being something less than like $150,000 for sure. And so at the time we're like, ouch, that hurt a whole hell of a lot. But because of that, we looked back and said, well, we had no claims for like 5 or 6 years before, and we saved over $1 million by not paying for the insurance. Listen, I get it. If you don't think that that's the safe way to invest, buy the insurance. But for us, that was the business model that we chose. And
a lot.
And we do it on a section of the portfolio, right? So it's properties that we were into for maybe $100,000 to $200,000. If it got above that, we're probably insuring it. Anytime we've made a large investment, 5, 6, 800,000 or $1 million or more, we're definitely going to be insured.
So like your hotel projects and stuff,
hotels and things like that. And that's the other thing. Once you start to have something where you have a whole bunch of people, you need insurance for that too. So
yeah, liability insurance, all that.
Yeah. In our lease, we do require that our tenants have renters insurance. Now they don't always do it, but they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
A lot of times the insurance that we're not getting is a builder's risk policy. So we would buy things to sell. And so we would buy 120 houses in a year, but we would sell 118 of them, right? Like, so we're buying in and out, and we are only not insuring for a period of time. Like in Florida, let's say it's a 3-month cycle. We buy it today, and 3 months later, we're cycling out of it. So that for us has just made sense to not insure those properties.
Yeah.
Now that I say that, freaking hurricane's going to come tomorrow, and it's going to wipe us out, and I'll be singing the blues.
It's like when you sell Bitcoin.
Huh?
It's
just like when I sell Bitcoin. Yeah.
Prices go up.
Do you know anybody who can help get a driver's license and documents for Puerto Rico?
If you go to your local DMV here on the island, or even on Google Maps, if you can zoom into where it is, there should be a couple companies around that are gestores, like people who take care of that stuff. I don't know anybody that does that. I just go do it. So
I've never done it either. So I keep my house in Florida. We have a house here, but I keep my house in Florida. My driver's license is in Florida.
And there's an app now for the DMV here on the island. So I don't know how much you can do through there. I haven't tried it yet.
But I have heard of
the gestor.
While I don't know one, there are gestores out there. They're not hard to find. If you're moving to the island, you're almost certainly going to be invited into 1,000 different WhatsApp groups, and ask anybody in any of those WhatsApp groups, and they're gonna be able to give you people that can help you.
Hey, Mike, welcome to Apex.
Thank you, Mike. Yep, I saw that.
Mike.
Woohoo!
All right, Mike, send us a DM. Love to connect. Alan is asking, is there an exemption on some of the capital gains when selling a primary residence in Puerto Rico, similar to the mainland U.S.?
Like a 10.
Yeah, I think there is, right? Like, so in the U.S., it's the first $500,000 as long as you lived in the house as your primary residence for 2 out of the last 5 years. I'm pretty sure that it mirrors that on the island of Puerto Rico. That's a really good question to ask your tax advisor, but I'm like 99% sure that it's something similar. Do you know?
Nope.
We'll find out. We'll find out for you and get that answer. I'll text someone right now. But
and couldn't you defer that capital gains with rental properties and stuff like that, depreciation? Tax
I don't know. I'm not a tax guy. I mean, I don't like to pay them, but I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert on it. But I'll get the answer about the capital gains if it mirrors the states like I believe that it does. Stand by. Go ahead.
All right. Guys, put in your last questions. We're time's flown by. We're running out of it. We've got one more from Drew. Adon, if you want to queue up the video again, I think we could run it again. Drew is asking, are there any new development projects going on in Puerto Rico?
Yes. So
lots.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's what's it called? Was it? I think it's like 14-15 million in Condado, where they're doing a big high rise. I just read an article today on the Milla de Oro, $140 million project going up there. It's condo hotels. It looks really, really nice. We're seeing it built right now. And then there's a couple articles of $2 billion being invested in Cabo Rojo, so that's going to bring big development down there.
I heard Seminole Hard Rock is doing $500 million for a new hotel casino, and they're going to get the tourism tax credit, guys.
Yes,
on that $500 million. So they're going to get $200 million back,
plus 4% corporate tax.
Yeah.
And there are lots of affordable housing projects all over the island.
Yeah.
We know of a 100-house development that happened in not Santa Isabella, down on the west.
This guy doesn't know.
San Sebastian, down towards Cabo Rojo on the southwest part of the island.
I don't know. The project.
Anyways, there's lots of housing stuff going on the island. You see the cranes litter the skyline now.
Yeah.
So when I showed up to the island of Puerto Rico, one, the lights were out, and two, there had been really no development for a decade. Nothing had been built in 10 years, and there was one crane to service all of the construction on the island, not to deliver babies, but to do the construction. And now if you drive around San Juan, you see the cranes everywhere. There's work getting done on this island, and it's a sight to see. It's awesome.
All right. Well, we have a word from our sponsor coming up here. While Adon's setting that up, what are your thoughts on the Caguas area?
I love Caguas. We've got a couple of properties. We've done a couple of projects in Caguas. McKenna, you and I did a flip in Caguas, if you remember. We bought it at an auction for 16,000, put some work into it, and sold it for 100 grand. That was a pretty good flip.
That was a really cool flip. It was at the top of a mountain, amazing views. That was a fun deal to do. I really liked that one. But I've always liked Caguas. I think if you're going to be in the mountains, it's probably where I'd want to be. I don't like driving in the mountains, and I think it's tougher for tourism plays as well, but they're definitely out there, and it just depends on the property and the numbers and, you know, what you're setting up and what you have.
Got a lot of cool stuff. The video's up.
I think you need to do the present thing, Adana.
You should be able to do it.
Noel says, my prayers to all of you in Florida and my many family and friends. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We're going to be prepping tomorrow, getting things ready to go, talking to tenants. So I think we'll hopefully be okay in Central Florida. I'm definitely worried about Tampa and how that's going. And now a message from our sponsor. Really nice guy.
Paralysis, but you want to become a real estate investor? You suffer from analysis paralysis, but you want to become a real estate investor? You just haven't been able to quite get there? Join us on Apex. We want to make real estate investing easy for you. Joel and Noel are my new partners. We bought a foreclosure sale earlier this week, and it was only a few weeks ago that they were suffering from analysis paralysis, but now they're real estate investors, and you can be too. For the month of October, you can get in for the low price of $79 a month, and you lock that price in for the rest of your life as long as you stay in the community. But November 1st, the price is going up. So join now. Every Thursday night, we're putting on a masterclass that'll help jumpstart your real estate investing career. You can network with other great like-minded real estate investors in the community. And ultimately, guys, we're going to help you become a real estate investor by doing deals. Either we'll partner with you on a deal that we've got, or you can bring us a deal and we'll fund it for you and partner with you that way. So what have you got to lose? Join Apex. It's only $79 a month. It's the best investment you'll ever make.
We got one more.
Woohoo!
One more what? One more sponsor ad?
Yeah, hold on. We got one more. It's just to end it.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
Practicing to be a DJ. But I'm a real estate investor, and you could be too. All you have to do, join us over on Apex. We're value add real estate investors. Let's go.
Boom. If you don't want to be a part of that, we don't want you.
Oh man, that's so much fun.
I'm with the DJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DJ No Toe. I love it. DJ
Bloody Toe. We got to pick one.
All right, and then for our last question of the night, very form-fitting, we got Noel. Hey, Noel, you look good in the video there. Horror month of October. What's your worst horror flip, and what did you learn from it?
McKenna, you go. Let me think about it because I have a few.
Oh man, I've got 3 right now that have been red tagged that I'm working my way through the permit process, and it is a nightmare, guys. You know,
what do you mean by red tagged?
Red tag means the county caught me doing unpermitted renovations, and they've shut down my job site, and they're way up in there looking at every little thing I do, trying to make sure it's all done correctly, which I'm happy to have it done to code, you know, done correctly. The problem is the county is a nightmare to work with. They're very slow. The process is a nightmare. It's very difficult to get an engineer and an architect to do the actual permit process. The system was broken in COVID. Before, you used to be able to go down in person and do the permit, and you know, one afternoon you'd sit there with the office and they'd help you do it. Now you're not allowed to go there in person. You have to just email back and forth, and it takes months. So it's a broken system, and what I've learned from it is to put paper over the windows if you're doing interior renovations, and that way they can't see what's going on.
You heard it here first.
He didn't learn get the permits.
No.
Good.
I would love to
teach
get
those
the
things.
permit.
we permit ourselves to work a lot of times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
We don't teach you to get insurance. We don't teach you to get permits.
oh my God.
I
Get
know.
a lawyer, have a good accountant.
Yeah.
We're gonna get sued. No, ask your lawyer what you should do.
Yeah, my goodness.
You should get permits.
I have a really good October flip story. It wasn't a horror story like getting red tagged, but we bought a place, and you guys can Google this. It was called the Orlando Rat House. And if you Google it, there are 2 or 3 newscasters who came out and did a couple of different stories on the house. They did a story before we bought it. They did a story right after we bought it. And it was a rat house. There were rats everywhere. I mean, the guy who we bought it from was a hoarder, and he liked to feed the animals. So inside the house, it was full of raccoons, rats, snakes.
You should be able to show it, McKenna.
And it was so bad that he had to move out of the house, and he was then sleeping in his car. And then he had food that he would feed the animals with inside of his car, and the rats ate through the bottom of the car. I kid you not. This is a true story. They ate through the bottom of the car with the guy sleeping in it. So I just thought that's a really good kind of Halloween Horror Nights.
How did you get this house?
How did we get this house?
You went to the guy and said, "Hey, are you tired of the rats?"
I bought it from a wholesaler. It was hoarder houses. We buy a lot of hoarder houses. We like to buy them because, and man, we did a hell of a renovation too.
Yeah,
we turned the rat house into the nicest house on the street.
He pulled out buckets of dirt. He was on the news, but really,
Drew helped to hire the people that cleaned it out, and I actually partnered with Drew's
good
partner now, the Blue Rock guy, Joe Schumann.
Yep.
And I wish we had kept that house. That's a bummer that every time I drive by there, I'm bummed that we sold it because it's a really great area.
Yeah.
But anyway, we couldn't keep them all, I guess. So that one sticks out. I have another hoarder house where I remember you could smell it from 300 yards away.
Ugh.
And it was a man and his family who lived in the house, and it was full of cats. I mean, there were hundreds of them, right? And they let the cats go into the basement and use it as a litter box. And it was like a 2,000 square foot basement. And guys, it had 2 feet up the wall of cat poop in the basement. And we had to send in people in hazmat suits to clean it out after we bought it. It was a great big house on a lake on a big piece of land. I bet you the house today is worth $1.5 million.
Drew says that he picked up a homeless guy at the bus stop to help clean, and he made me take him back to the bus stop.
For the rat house?
That was Drew.
That was Drew for the rat house. Yeah. And the rat house was not the worst one. This one that I'm describing now is probably, I think, is the worst one. It's the worst one that I can remember. And there was a gate and a long driveway, like a 300 long driveway, and you could smell the house at the start of the driveway. And when I went to meet the guy, he was standing in the house in his bare feet, cats everywhere, and you could, you had to wear a mask. It was so disgusting. And there was even cat poop coming, and the cats just ravaged this house.
Dude, I got a headache just thinking about it.
It was horrible. It was so horrible. And we managed to fix it and get it sold.
What you burned the house down and rebuilt it?
No, we literally sent people in with hazmat suits and scooped out thousands of pounds of cat poop.
Oh,
thousands of pounds.
You didn't sell it to like a farm or something?
I don't know what they did with it. I don't know.
You forgot.
I will tell you, I was there the first time when I signed the contract to buy it. I never went back to it again. Even after we renovated it, I was just like, I was
traumatized.
I don't need to go see it.
No.
Like they're saying, oh, it's better now. I'm like, oh, good. Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it as fast as we can. So,
well, guys, thanks so much for coming to the stream. We're 15 minutes over time, and we want to be respectful of everyone's, Monday nights. We have Thursday night masterclass coming up with this guy, Robbie Krager. We're going to be talking about long-term rentals And if you guys have any questions that we didn't get to, make a post in the Flip Flop Flipper group, make a post in Apex, send us a DM. We're on there all the time, and we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to connect. So thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Let's end it right. Let's end it right.
Back to the music.
We're ending it right.
Now a word from the DJ.
Now, word from the DJ, 100%.
We needed these queued up, man. Boom.
The computer's far away from me.
What are you doing? Huh? I'm practicing to be a DJ. But I'm a real estate investor, and you could be too. All you have to do, join us over on Apex. We're Value Add Real Estate Investors. Let's go.
I don't know if that'll make more people join or less. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming. It's good to see you.
Real
Thank you,
estate
guys.
investing
We'll
is
see
a
you
team
next
sport,
Monday.
and we have a lot of fun doing it, guys.
We'll see you Monday.
We'll
Good
see you
night.
Monday.
Good
Bye.
night. God bless.